assume you already know you risk a jail term of 2 years if you operate as a real estate agent in Kenya and you don't have a valid operating license. So I recently registered as a real estate agent, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of registering so that if you're looking at registering as a real estate agent in Kenya, you have a good understanding of what you need to register so that the process is easy for you. I'll go over the registration requirement, the process of registering, and what you need to do to pass the registration interview. I'll also cover the lessons that I learned so that I'll help you in your experience of getting registered. And just to prove it, here's a copy of my registration certificate, and this is me getting the certificate to prove that what I'm going to tell you is from actual experience that I have gone through when registering as a real estate agent. And because I want as many people as possible to join me in this journey of registering as a real estate agent, in this video description, I'll put a link where if you enter your email address, I'll send you the materials that you really need to register as a real estate agent. And if you're an agent out there and you're looking for a place to list your properties, head over to property254.co.ke and start listing with us from today. Now, let's go back to the registration process. And before you start even registering as a real estate agent, let me tell you who an agent is. So, in Kenya, a real estate agent is anyone who is involved in the process of either selling, mortgaging, or charging property, rent collection, or managing whether it's a house or a shop or any other building. So if you're involved anywhere in that process, then you qualify to be called a real estate agent. So whether you are buying land or selling land or building or managing collection of rent, it means you should be registered as a real estate agent. Registration of real estate agents is done by one body, and this is the Estate Agents Registration Board. This Estate Agents Registration Board, EARB, that's what I'll refer it as we go over the video, is governed by the Estate Agents Act. And for this act, if you want to know more about it, I'll put it link in the description as well so that you can be able to download the link and read it for yourself. Now that we've gone through why you need to register and who a real estate agent is, let me tell you the benefits of being registered. First, you need to register as a real estate agent because it's a legal requirement. If you operate without a license, you are operating outside the law. If you are arrested when doing this, as I said, you risk a jail term of 2 years or currently a fine not exceeding 20,000. I know 20,000 doesn't sound much as a fine, so that's where the second point of why you need to register comes in. Registering as a real estate agent offers you legal protection. That is, in case of disputes, you can be able to rush to the court and the court will protect you. I'll give you an instance. There is a case that was decided where someone lost millions of money because they were not registered as a real estate agent, but they wanted to get the commission. So if you want to make sure that your commission is protected, then it means you need to make sure that you are registered as a real estate agent so that if anyone doesn't pay your commission, you can rush to the courts and the court will listen to you. But if you're not registered, you cannot sue anyone in case they don't pay you your commission. Now that we've covered why you need to register, let me tell you the requirements for registration. To be registered as a real estate agent in Kenya, first, you need to be a Kenyan citizen. So as at now, if you're a foreigner, you can't be registered as a real estate agent because registration currently is for agents. Additionally, this registration is for individual people, so if you are a company, you can't be registered. The Estate Agents Registration Board is only currently registering individuals. Secondly, for you to be registered, you need to be a holder of either a degree or a diploma from a recognized institution. But if you only have a KCSE certificate, and I understand that's what most people have, you can still be registered if you prove to the board that you are of good character. And the way that you prove that you are of good character is by going to the DCI, picking a copy of your certificate of good conduct, and putting it as part of your application documents, and we shall cover the application process later. Other than just having the education, you need to have experience of at least 2 years working with a registered real estate agent. And by having 2 years of experience, I'm not saying you should have worked for 2 or more years. You need to have those 2 years of experience working with an actual registered real estate agent. And this means even if you've worked in real estate for the last let's say 10 years, you still need to work with a real estate agent who is registered by the board for a period of at least 2 years for you to apply. Some people ask, do you need to have a physical office when applying? No, you don't need to have a physical office. I know a physical office adds to your credibility, but it's not necessarily a requirement for registration with a board. What locks most people out from being able to register is not working for someone who is a registered real estate agent for at least 2 years. And you see, if you need to, let's say, get registered next year, you should have started 2 years ago working with someone who is already registered. And the way you find someone who is already registered, the Estate Agents Registration Board usually releases a list on an annual basis or when other agents are added of people who are registered to operate as real estate agents. So I'll give a link also in the description to the last list that was provided, and I'll try as much as possible to update that list so that you can always go to the list of people who are already registered with Estate Agents Registration Board, and if you find someone, you can go work for them so that when your time comes to register as an agent, they're able to recommend you and write for you a letter of recommendation that they've been able to work with you, train you, and that you are a reputable person in real estate. Now that we've talked about why you need to register and the requirements for registration, let's go through the application process. Now, to register as a real estate agent, the application process is open throughout the year. And for you to apply, you go to the EARB website. I'll give a link as well on the screen, EARB Estate Agents Registration Board.or.ke. When the website opens up, you click on this link of members. When you click on members, you then click apply for membership. When you do that, a separate portal opens up like this. This portal will at least help you in understanding what you need to register. And these are the requirements as you scroll down where you need to fill up to register. So go ahead and read all these so that you know what you need for the actual registration. You will need to provide something like personal details for yourself, your full name, your ID, your passport number, your contact information. All these, you need them before entering into the system. There are also several documents that you'll be required to attach. One, you will need to attach certified copies of your academic qualifications. And to certify, you just need to look for a lawyer to certify the documents. You show them the originals, and then the lawyer will certify them. So the academic qualifications, you'll need a certified national ID or passport, certificate of good conduct from the DCI, which you can get from eCitizen. And then, as I mentioned before, you'll need a recommendation letter from an existing real estate agent. And this real estate agent additionally needs to be licensed to operate. And remember, you should have worked with the registered real estate agents for at least 2 years. Once you have all this in place and you're on the website, what you need to do currently, as I'm making this video, you'll need to pay an application fee for 1,000 shillings. So this 1,000 shillings currently, you just pay it as you submit the document. If this 1,000 shillings changes, please look on the description. I'll attach a blog that I will update often with the most recent numbers from EARB because these prices change. Now, once you submit this document, EARB will review them. If all your documents are in order, you will be requested to attend a physical interview. Now, this interview, for myself, the amount I paid is 3,000 shillings. And again, this may change due to passage of time. Maybe it is now changed 3,000 or 4,000. I'll link a blog where I'll be updating it in case this amount changes. Once you pay for the interview, what happens is, instead of EARB first calling you for the interview, you will be invited for a pre-registration workshop. Now, this workshop will help you to pass the actual interview. So this is something that prepares you to actually pass the interview. EARB is in the process of getting as many agents as possible to get registered. So the more people who pass the interview, the better it is. So from our end, we paid 4,000 to attend the pre-registration workshop, and we were given ideas on what the interview will be, what the question could be asked within the interview. Now, in this pre-registration workshop, for us, it was done virtually. You will just learn what you need to pass in the interview. You'll be given some of the key things you need to learn. You'll have additional materials which you could read so that once you go to the interview, you're already prepared. Some of the things that you are told in that pre-registration interview is what you need to understand, what governs real estate. Like we already know, the Constitution of Kenya gives you the right to own property. There is the Real Estate Agents Act that sets up the board. You have other acts of parliament like the Land Act, Landlord and Tenants Act, Land Restriction Act, Distress for Rent Act. So there are so many acts in real estate, and in that pre-registration workshop, you will learn about it. And while I know that is not enough because I attended the pre-registration workshop myself, what I've teamed up with other real estate agents to do is we've prepared sessions where we can be able to guide you more on that process, so that in addition to attending the pre-registration workshop, we are forming a group where we can have discussions before you go to the interview to prepare you so that once you go to the interview, you can be able to pass. Now, to join that program, there is a link in the description of this YouTube video, and once you put your email, whenever that program is starting, we shall let you know. What happens is EARB does interviews on a quarterly basis. So maybe it's quarterly, but the EARB waits until there is enough quorum to attend the interviews. Once the interview date is set, we shall be able to link you up with other people who are attending the interviews and go over maybe the questions that you are likely to face. We'll go over them, and before the interview happens, we'll do mock interview with you just to prepare you to be able to pass that interview. So put your email in the link in the description, and once those ones are set, we shall be able to alert you. Now, once you attend the interview, I attended mine. There are several people in a panel, and if you want more information on how that happens, you go attend the sessions. There are people on that side. They ask you questions around real estate. It could be anything from property management, property sales, land buying processes. So there are different questions you could be asked. And once you pass those questions, then what happens is you are given a notification that you came for the interview and you've passed. Now, what EARB does, which they did for us, is they set up another meeting, like a pre-induction meeting. Now, this meeting was just to tell you what to expect once now that you've been registered as a real estate agent. So we did that interview in Upper Hill, met other real estate agents, and that is where this photo, where we are all real estate agents who are registered in that cohort, came in. And in that meeting, we were awarded certificates, and this is my certificate, and I've showed the same certificate to you before. Now, while this process has been completed, doesn't mean that's it. Even though now you are like a registered real estate agent, there are two things you need to do once you get registered. You have the registration certificate. Secondly, what you need to do is go back to EARB and get your annual practicing certificate. This is the same thing that businesses go to the city council and get certificate issued to them. So for you, you need to go back to EARB and pay for your annual practicing certificate. But the thing is, before you get your annual practicing certificate from EARB, there is one more important thing you need to do, and that's take out indemnity insurance. The law requires that you take out insurance so that consumers of your services, in this case, people who are buying or selling property or people who you are interacting with in case of property management, the law requires that those people are protected from fraud or dishonesty on your part. So you can take out this insurance from any service provider. And armed with that insurance that EARB is sure, in case you commit fraud, your clients are covered, you can go now to EARB and get your annual practicing license. And you apply for this annual practicing license through the portal. And if you are a registered real estate agent and you are wondering how to get this insurance, the minimum starts from around 10,000. So if you take insurance for around 10,000 Kenya shillings, you will have an annual coverage for up to 1 million Kenya shillings. If you don't know of a good insurance company, let me know and I'll be able to connect you up with a good company. I hope you've been able to understand, one, why you need to register. Secondly, the requirements of registration. Thirdly, the cost around involved in the process of registration. And fourth, what you need to do on an annual basis. I've said, one, you need to take out annual insurance, indemnity insurance from any service provider. And secondly, you need to be taking an annual license from EARB for you to continue in operations. And once you do this, you will be able to operate your real estate agency with no questions at all. If you are a real estate agent, you are seeking to get registered, as I've said, there is a link in the description. You can join our emailing list and we'll tell you once we have those monthly trainings, weekly trainings, where you can be able to join in, have discussion with other real estate agents so that we can help you in the registration process. If you're here and you want to sell your properties and wondering where to start, head over to property254.co.ke and start selling your properties now.